LeBron James is still deciding where he'll play next. But Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't staying quiet. His latest comments have many fans convinced he's trying to recruit LeBron to the Miami Heat. And based on everything that's emerging, that idea may not be as far-fetched as it sounds. Let me break it down. It started on a live stream. Giannis Antetokounmpo, fresh off becoming a Miami Heat player, sat down with his brother Alex for a stream with internet personality N3On. The chat started blowing up with one request: get LeBron to Miami. Someone in the chat asked Giannis directly about it, and instead of laughing it off or staying neutral, he leaned in. Asked about the greatest of all-time conversation, Giannis wouldn't play that game. He said flatly, "I'll say you can't compare eras." But then he kept talking. And this is the part that got clipped and reposted everywhere. "But the person I like to watch a lot is LeBron James. I like to watch him," he said. That's not a throwaway line from a guy being polite about a rival. That's Giannis on camera, telling the world who he studies. Then the chat pushed further. They wanted to know if he'd want LeBron in Miami specifically. "In Miami?" Giannis responded before shrugging with a smile. No denial, no deflection, just a shrug and a grin. The kind of reaction that tells you everything without saying it outright. It got better. Later in that same stream, someone in the chat decided to have some fun with him. They faked a screenshot claiming LeBron had already agreed to return to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Giannis's reaction was immediate, and it wasn't subtle at all. "Touch my heart, bro. Don't do that to me," Antetokounmpo said with a laugh. That's not the reaction of someone who's indifferent to where LeBron signs. That's a man who got spooked. For real. Even for a second, at the idea of losing out on the guy he wants next to him. So the live stream gave us the reaction. But then came the report that turned this from a fun clip into an actual story with league sourcing behind it. ESPN's senior NBA insider, Shams Charania, went on the Stephen A. Smith show and dropped something that made Heat fans sit up. He laid out why Miami has a real shot at LeBron, walking through it factor by factor. Pat Riley is a draw, he said. Eric Spoelstra is a draw. And on the lingering question of bad blood between LeBron and Riley from years back, Charania said he hadn't gotten the feel that there's any tension that still remains between LeBron James and Pat Riley that would deter him from that. Then Charania got to the part that mattered most for this story. He said Bam Adebayo and Giannis are big draws for LeBron, noting he played Team USA with Bam and has a lot of respect for him. And then, the line that confirmed what the live stream had already shown us. Charania said plainly that Giannis would want LeBron in Miami as well. From my understanding, that's not a fan theory anymore. That's an ESPN insider, sourced up telling Stephen A. Smith's audience that the newest Heat superstar is actively hoping to recruit the league's all-time leading scorer to join him. And it didn't stop with words. Around the same time, eagle-eyed fans on social media started connecting dots between posts from Giannis and Heat guard Bradley Beal. Beal posted something about winning the day. A day later, Giannis posted on Instagram with the caption "Win today." Fans noted that both phrases echoed language LeBron and Heat coach Eric Spoelstra have used before. One user compiled the posts and asked the question everyone was already thinking, writing, "Do y'all see what's going on underneath side-by-side screenshots? It might be nothing." Word choice overlaps happen, but added to the livestream shrug, the heart-touch reaction to a fake Cleveland rumor, and Charania's sourced report, and you've got a Heat locker room that looks like it's actively campaigning for LeBron behind the scenes, led by its newest and biggest name. Here's what makes this stand out from normal free agency noise. Stars usually stay quiet about recruiting rivals. They let the front office and the agents handle it. Giannis didn't do that. He put himself out front on a live stream with his face and his voice, making it clear he wants this specific guy walking through the Miami locker room doors. That's the message. Whether LeBron receives it the way Giannis wants is the part still playing out. To understand why Giannis is suddenly the one recruiting LeBron, you have to go back to how he ended up in Miami in the first place. Because none of this works without that trade happening first. For over a decade, Giannis Antetokounmpo was the face of the Milwaukee Bucks. He arrived as a skinny teenager from Greece, grew into a two-time MVP, and delivered Milwaukee its first championship in 50 years. That kind of loyalty usually doesn't end in a trade demand. But the roster around him had started to erode, and the front office was reportedly bracing for a slower rebuilding path. Giannis wanted none of that. He wanted to keep chasing championships, not wait years for a new core to develop. That tension boiled over into a blockbuster. The Heat went all in to get him, and it cost them significantly. Miami sent out Tyler Herro, Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparas Jakučianis, and multiple draft picks to the Milwaukee Bucks to land him. That's not a small price. That's a franchise mortgaging a chunk of its future on the belief that Giannis, at this stage of his career, still gives them championship math. Giannis, for his part, has been open about why he pushed for a change of scenery at all. He recently admitted that his thinking shifted because he wants to compete for a ring, while he still has time to do it, rather than sit through a rebuild, the way Milwaukee was reportedly planning. He's not hiding the urgency. He knows the championship window doesn't stay open forever, and he wants a roster that's built to win now, not in 3 years. That urgency is exactly why the LeBron pursuit makes sense from Miami's side. Landing Giannis was the splash, but as one report put it plainly, landing Antetokounmpo is a huge win for the Heat, but the team still needs help, which is why they've been pursuing a reunion with LeBron James in free agency. In the wake of the deal, Giannis alone doesn't fix Miami's depth problems. The front office knows it, and apparently, so does Giannis. There's an added layer here that makes the whole situation almost ironic. Giannis wasn't always a fan of super teams. Back in 2021 and 2023, he took what were widely read as indirect shots at LeBron and Kevin Durant for stacking rosters through free agency instead of building organically. It's noted that it's a bit noteworthy that in 2021 and 2023, Antetokounmpo took indirect shots at LeBron James and Kevin Durant for forming super teams, and a trio of Antetokounmpo, Bam Adebayo, and LeBron James in Miami would be very close to being that. So the guy who once seemed skeptical of engineered super teams is now the one trying to engineer one himself, just with his own name at the center of it. That's not a contradiction that gets talked about much in the coverage, but it's sitting right there. Circumstances change, championship windows close, and apparently, so do old philosophies about how rosters should get built. Once the trade became official, Giannis didn't take long to settle in and start selling the vision. He arrived in Miami and within days was already publicly weighing in on the LeBron situation on that live stream. One outlet summed up the timeline bluntly. Giannis arrived in Miami just days after a blockbuster trade from Milwaukee, and Charania says he's already invested in who comes next. That's a fast turnaround. Most players take time to get comfortable in a new city before they start publicly campaigning for who should join them. Giannis skipped that step entirely. He walked into Miami and immediately started working the phones, or at least working the live stream comments section, on behalf of a roster that doesn't officially include LeBron yet. There's also the basketball logic behind why Giannis specifically wants this pairing. Beyond just star power for its own sake, Giannis has dealt with durability questions in recent years, having logged 70-plus appearances just once since the 2018-19 season. A roster with genuine title depth around him means he doesn't have to carry every single night the way he did in Milwaukee during years when the roster around him thinned out. LeBron, even at 41, still gives Miami another shot creator, another ball handler, another guy who can close games when Giannis needs a breather. And the fit argument writes itself once you put the pieces on paper. One writer described the vision this way, saying pairing James with Antetokounmpo is like fantasy basketball, with a starting lineup rounded out by Bam Adebayo, Davion Mitchell, and Norman Powell. On raw talent alone, that's a lineup that competes with anybody in the East. So that's the backdrop. Giannis didn't just get traded to Miami and quietly settle into his new locker. He got traded to Miami, looked around at a roster that still needed one more piece, and decided the loudest way to get that piece was to make his preference known himself, publicly, repeatedly, in front of cameras and comment sections. The trade created the opportunity. What Giannis has done with it since is a campaign. None of this works without LeBron actually being available, and that's the part of the story that's been unfolding on a completely separate track. To understand why Giannis's recruiting pitch even matters, you have to understand just how open LeBron's decision really is right now. For months, the expectation around the league was that LeBron would simply run it back with the Lakers. Brian Windhorst of ESPN had reported that LeBron's focus was on getting a deal done in Los Angeles, and Mark J. Spears had suggested LeBron was likely coming back there too. That was the storyline for a long stretch of the offseason. Then it flipped. LeBron informed the Lakers he wasn't planning to re-sign with them this offseason, and that single decision blew the entire free agency picture wide open. Once that happened, everybody started pitching, and LeBron's side has been careful about it. According to Windhorst, James and his reps have been tight-lipped about where his head is at, which isn't dissimilar from how he's approached free agency in the past. That's LeBron's pattern going back years. He doesn't tip his hand early. He lets teams make their case, lets the noise build, and decides on his own timeline. That noise right now has narrowed to essentially 3 teams. Charania has been explicit about the hierarchy, describing it as Cleveland, Miami, Philadelphia, and then some teams on the periphery. 3 very different pitches, 3 very different versions of how LeBron closes out his career. Cleveland is the hometown pull. It's where he's from. The team that made him a legend before he ever left for Miami the first time around. Charania described that pitch simply, framing it as the question of whether this could be his last stop and asking the Cleveland area. This potentially being your last spot to finish your career. Do you want to do it in Cleveland? Do you want to do it in Miami? Do you want to do it in Philadelphia? That's not a small consideration for a guy in year 24. Legacy matters, and finishing at home carries its own weight. Philadelphia is the newest entrant, and it wasn't even originally expected to be in the mix. It surged into contention after the Sixers traded for all-star Jaylen Brown, and Charania noted that once that trade happened, LeBron started taking Philly's pitch seriously, describing it as something the front office is genuinely pursuing rather than a long-shot mention. And then there's Miami, the Giannis pitch, the one carrying all the extra weight of history. LeBron already knows exactly what winning in that building feels like. He enjoyed enormous success during his first run with the Heat, from 2010 to 2014, reaching 4 NBA Finals, winning 2 championships, and earning 2 NBA MVP awards and 2 NBA Finals MVP awards. He built a big 3 there once already, alongside Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Doing something similar with Giannis and Bam Adebayo isn't a stretch of the imagination. It's a blueprint LeBron has already run once. But it's not just nostalgia pulling him back. There's real basketball logic to it too, layered with the personal relationships already in place. Charania pointed to something specific. LeBron's connection with Bam Adebayo isn't abstract. LeBron played Team USA with Bam and has a lot of respect for him. That Olympic bond carries into free agency conversations in a way that a stranger on a new roster wouldn't. Then there's the old wound that everybody assumed would keep Miami out of this entirely. The lingering tension between LeBron and Pat Riley from when LeBron left Miami for Cleveland the first time. Charania directly addressed that too, saying he hasn't picked up any since. That old tension would stop LeBron from considering a return. If that door was ever actually shut, Charania's reporting suggests it's cracked back open. There's also the financial and lifestyle piece nobody should skip over. Miami plays in a zero-income tax state. For a player in the final contracts of his career, that's real money staying in his pocket, compared to a max deal signed somewhere with state income tax. Charania even referenced it directly during his breakdown, noting Miami's tax advantage alongside the basketball case as part of the full pitch. Complicating things further, LeBron's own camp has signaled there's no rush to decide. Rich Paul, his longtime agent, indicated there's no pressure on the 4-time champion to make a move quickly. And Rich Paul has reportedly been the one shaping the conversation with these teams directly, described as laying out the case not just on basketball but on culture and environment too. Meanwhile, a competing report from the Miami Herald threw some cold water on Miami's chances specifically, with Barry Jackson reporting the Heat could only offer a full mid-level exception, and that LeBron accepting that kind of deal to return is considered a long shot. That's the tension sitting underneath this whole story. Giannis wants it. The fit makes sense on paper, but the money math might not favor Miami compared to a max-level offer somewhere else, and that gap is real. So where does that leave things? LeBron is somewhere in the middle of Cleveland's homecoming pitch, Philadelphia's suddenly serious push, and Miami's reunion tour, complete with its newest superstar publicly lobbying for him. He hasn't tipped his hand. His team has been deliberately quiet, and every single insider report treats this as genuinely unresolved, not a done deal in any direction. That uncertainty is exactly why Giannis's public campaigning matters so much right now. In a decision this close, a direct personal pitch from a 2-time MVP might be the difference maker. Giannis isn't the only person inside the Heat organization or around the league with opinions on this. Once word got out that Miami's newest star was actively rooting for LeBron, other voices started weighing in too, and not all of them agree on what it means for the Heat. Start with the guys who've actually worn the jersey. Former Heat guard Mario Chalmers, who won championships in Miami during LeBron's first stint there, has been watching this build with a clear-eyed take. He called Miami a top 3 team in the East, while also noting the depth behind the core is thin. That's not a blind endorsement. That's someone who knows exactly what a championship roster looks like from the inside, saying the Heat have real pieces, but not enough of them yet. Which again is exactly the gap Giannis is hoping LeBron fills. Then there's Danny Green, another former champion. With his own experience playing alongside star-studded rosters, his read was more blunt, and honestly a little alarming for Heat fans. He went further than Chalmers, predicting the Heat would miss the playoffs entirely if Giannis suffered an injury. That's a real gut check. It means the entire season, in Green's eyes, hinges on one player's health, and that adding LeBron wouldn't just be a luxury pickup. It would be the thing keeping the whole operation from collapsing if the worst happens. That's the tension nobody's really talking about outright. Giannis wants LeBron in Miami, not just because they'd look great on a poster together, but because the roster genuinely needs the insurance. Green's prediction backs up exactly why Giannis has been so vocal. Without more help, one injury wrecks the entire season. Outside the locker room, the insider chatter kept building too. Mark Stein, who's covered these free agency sagas for years, reported that the Heat are among the teams that at least believe they're still in the running to sign James. Note the phrasing there. Believe they're still in the running. Not confirmed, not guaranteed, just genuinely in it still, with no clear signal on where this lands. Jake Fisher's reporting added another layer entirely, this time about the ripple effects. He suggested that veteran DeMar DeRozan is watching the LeBron sweepstakes too, expecting to sign wherever LeBron doesn't. Fisher said DeRozan's most likely landing spots are teams that don't get LeBron James, mentioning Miami, Cleveland, and Golden State as options if that happens. That means Miami's whole offseason, not just the Giannis and LeBron pairing, is sitting on a domino that hasn't fallen yet. Every roster decision downstream is waiting on LeBron's answer. And then there's the social media detective work that kept the story alive between real reports. That Bradley Beal and Giannis post-overlap wasn't the only piece of circumstantial evidence fans dug up. Some pointed back to comments LeBron himself made months earlier on his own podcast, Mind the Game, where he talked about what he wants out of his next chapter. He said, "Winning is most important. You want to be excited about, like I said earlier, winning the day and being around a group of guys that feel the same way. I'm not going anywhere where it's a start over at year 24. That quote matters more than it might seem on first listen. LeBron isn't just picking a city. He's picking a locker room mentality. He wants guys who are already dialed in, already built to win immediately, not a project. And that's precisely the pitch Miami is making with Giannis and Bam Adebayo already in place. Ready-made, no rebuilding required. Brian Windhorst, for his part, has tried to keep everyone's expectations in check, regardless of all this speculation. He's been blunt that nobody actually has certainty here, saying flatly that nobody knows what team LeBron is joining, and that every team publicly professing confidence is mostly just hoping. That's worth sitting with. All the insider reports, all the cryptic posts, all of Giannis's public campaigning, none of it has produced an actual answer yet. Even Giannis's own comments outside the LeBron conversation hint at where his head is at generally this offseason. In one moment, he opened up about wanting more balance in his life, saying, "I think for some few years, I'll go ghost because I want to be able to do my own thing. We play every other days. We don't have time for ourselves. So I want to be in my kids' tournaments and their plays at school, just being in their life a lot more." That's not directly about LeBron, but it tells you something about a guy thinking hard about time, about windows closing, about wanting things settled sooner rather than later. That mentality lines up with why he wants LeBron now immediately, not in some hypothetical future season. So you've got former champions split on how good this team already is, insiders split on which city wins the sweepstakes, a domino line of other free agents waiting on the answer. And in the middle of it, the guy Miami traded away half its bench to acquire, standing in front of cameras, making his preference about as clear as an active player possibly can, without breaking tampering rules. The locker room's watching, the league's watching. Nobody has the final word yet. So where does this actually leave things? Miami has done everything it can control. It made the trade. It built a roster around Bam Adebayo and Giannis. It let its brightest new star do the recruiting himself, on live streams, in interviews, through posts that read like inside jokes meant for one specific audience of one. Now it's just waiting, the same as everyone else. the Heat's front office is reportedly still working other angles in parallel, not putting all its chips on one player. They've had initial conversations with Bradley Beal already on the roster, though they haven't pushed hard beyond that. They hadn't reached out to DeMar DeRozan as of earlier this week, though that could change depending on how the LeBron situation resolves. Every move the Heat make right now is contingent, waiting on one signature that hasn't happened yet. And LeBron himself remains the only person who actually knows what he's going to do. He's given no public indication of which way he's leaning. His representatives have stayed quiet by design. Windhorst's reporting makes clear that even the teams pursuing him don't have real certainty, just hope dressed up as optimism. That's the position Cleveland's in. That's the position Philadelphia's in. And that's the position Miami's in too, no matter how loud Giannis has been about wanting this specific outcome. What makes this particular chapter different from a normal free agency chase is the specific role Giannis has taken on. Most stars stay in their lane during another player's free agency. They let the front office run point, let the agents talk, and stay publicly neutral, so they don't accidentally say the wrong thing or create tampering headaches. Giannis skipped all of that. He's been the one in front of the camera. He's the one who shrugged and smiled when asked about Miami specifically. He's the one who panicked, even jokingly, at the idea of a fake Cleveland rumor. He's the one whose Instagram caption got compared line for line against LeBron's own words from months earlier. Whether that's a strategy his people encouraged or just genuine excitement spilling out in real time, the effect is the same. Giannis has made himself the face of Miami's pitch, alongside Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, and everyone else working the phones behind the scenes. There's something worth sitting with in how fast this all moved too. Giannis went from Milwaukee legend to Miami newcomer to public LeBron recruiter within the span of about a week. That's not normal pacing for a player adjusting to a new team, a new city, a new set of teammates. But Giannis clearly isn't approaching this the way most players would. He said himself he wants to chase a championship while he still has the legs for it, and every single public comment since the trade lines up with that urgency. He's not interested in a slow build. He wants the fastest possible path to contention. And in his mind, that path runs directly through LeBron James's decision. It's also worth remembering what's actually at stake for LeBron in all this, separate from anything Giannis wants. This is very possibly the final contract of his career. Whatever team he picks isn't just a business decision, it's the answer to how a 24-year career gets written down in the end. Cleveland offers the poetry of finishing where he started. Philadelphia offers a fresh challenge next to a rising star in Jaylen Brown. And Miami offers something entirely different, a chance to relive the version of his career where a super team actually worked, this time with a two-time MVP standing in the spot. Wade or Bosh once stood, doing everything short of tampering to make sure it happens again. None of the three options is a bad one. That's exactly why this has dragged out as long as it has. There's no obviously correct answer being kept secret. There's a genuinely hard decision, sitting in front of a 41-year-old future Hall of Famer, and every team in the running knows it, which is why every team keeps making its case as loudly and as creatively as it can. For Giannis, this is about more than one more all-star name on the roster. It's about buying himself the best possible shot at another championship before his own body stops cooperating with his ambitions. He's already dealt with injury trouble, limiting his seasons. He's already watched Milwaukee's championship window shrink faster than he wanted it to. Miami represented a reset, a chance to compete now instead of later. But Giannis, Bam, and a supporting cast built mostly from a Bucks trade package still might not be enough on their own to get back to a final stage. Adding LeBron changes the math immediately, and Giannis clearly understands exactly how much that math matters. So the story sits unresolved, the way the best ones do right before they land somewhere. Giannis has said his piece, repeatedly, publicly, unmistakably. Chirania's sourcing backs it up from the inside. Cleveland's pulling from one direction, Philadelphia from another, and Miami's pulling with the added weight of a former MVP standing in the locker room already, actively campaigning for company. LeBron is taking his time, exactly the way he always has, letting the noise build around him, while he makes up his own mind on his own schedule. Whatever he decides, one thing is already true regardless of the outcome. Giannis Antetokounmpo made sure LeBron James knew exactly where he stood, out loud, on camera, more than once, in a way very few superstars are willing to do. For another superstar's free agency, that message has been sent. Whether it gets answered with a yes is the only chapter left to write.